Hello, today I'm going to be yapping about F1. So today, I'm deciding whether every driver on the current Formula 1 grid is overrated, underrated or fairly rated. So let's start off with the reigning world champion, Max Verstappen. I think he is actually underrated because somehow there are still a lot of people that think he's only successful because of the car. Ah yes, the car where Liam Lawson achieved his dream, P20 in qualifying, P17 in the race, and Sergio Perez achieved total terribility, whatever, he sucked. And yet Max is a 4-time world champion in that same car. Yeah, honestly, these people would make very good comedians, and for all the wrong reasons. Next, the new Red Bull hire, Yuki Tsunoda. I think he's underrated because I don't see that many people hyping him up. Like, I saw a video that said, before his first race even, what if Yuki Tsunoda fails too? I haven't watched it because I don't think he is going to fail. And even if he does, that's probably not because he's a bad driver. Because, like, at V-Carb and AlphaTauri, he did surprisingly well. Like, nothing spectacular, not world champion level, but enough that I thought for a very long time he should have gotten the Red Bull seat. By the way, my prediction came true. I'm a genius. Next question. Okay, so Lando Norris. I think he's fairly rated because last year for a while he was overrated, but before that he was underrated. Now he's fairly rated because people have realised that he has a lot of strengths, but they've also realised that he still has some weaknesses. Moving on to Oscar Piastri. He is still underrated because he is more recognised now than he was last year. He still isn't shown quite enough love as he should be. Next, Charles Leclerc, the man who, if he fills out his contract, is going to have been at Ferrari for 10 years. I think he's underrated because recently I haven't seen much talk about him. I've seen him getting really overshadowed by like Max, Lewis, Lando and Oscar, and I think he deserves just as much praise as the rest of them. Him and Ferrari haven't had a strong start to the season, but to be honest, I think he's been doing better than Lewis, apart from the sprint win. Like in Australia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he finished higher than Lewis. And in in China, in the actual race, I think he was ahead of Lewis, but that might just be because Lewis let him through. Anyway, moving on to the new Ferrari hire, Lewis Hamilton. He's overrated, okay? This is going to be controversial, but I think he is. He's a great driver, don't get me wrong. 7-time world champion, 8 if you're mentally insane. He isn't as good as he used to be. People have a hard time accepting that, you know? But he's not the driver he used to be. He's still great, but not as good as he was before. George Russell. Underrated. Like, he's surprisingly consistent this year. If he sticks that way for like even a quarter of the season, he could be in like contention for P4, P3 in the championship. In Mercedes, which isn't the best car, but still. Yeah, he's very, very good. Underrated. Kimi Antonelli. Fairly rated, and he has been pretty much since he came onto the scene in Formula 1 at Monza last year. I think people always knew he was like a once-in-a-lifetime sort of driver. Not once-in-a-lifetime, but like people always knew he was quite talented, and now he has been showing it. Next, Fernando Alonso. I think he's underrated because some people don't realise that he is still a really good driver, and the only reason he's not getting good finishes is the car, the Aston Martin AMR 25, isn't that good. Hopefully, when Adrian Newey comes in, he could be in contention for like a decent spot in the championship, and next year, if Adrian Newey can get the car working, he could probably be in a championship fight. Lance Stroll, the man that likes to crash his car at any given opportunity. He's overrated. Now, hear me out. He's overrated because he is so infinitely bad that it is physically impossible for any human mind to fully comprehend how bad he is. So every person who ever thinks about him thinks he's slightly better than he is because he's just that infinitely bad. So yeah, overrated. Pierre Gasly, fairly rated. I mean, last year he was underrated, but he's not doing as well this year, so I think he's fairly rated. Same with Jack Doohan, or same fairly rated, Jack Doohan. He isn't getting much attention and his driving hasn't been anything noteworthy, so yeah, fairly rated. Carlos Sainz, I think he's still underrated. He's had bad luck so far this year, but when he's been like pushing the car and like actually able to drive, he's shown glimpses of talent that haven't really quite gone unnoticed. Next, Carlos Sainz's teammate at Williams, Alex Albon. I think he's also underrated because he's been performing well and actually getting the results and still not getting enough recognition. So yeah, props to Alex. I don't even know what to say. He's just good. Just good driver. Liam Lawson, the man that got sacked. Fairly rated because people can see how bad he did at Red Bull, but maybe he can do better at VCarb. Don't get your hopes up though. Actually, yeah, do get your hopes up. I'm not stopping you. I'm not telling you what to do. It's a free world. Go live life how you want to live it. Isaac Hadjar. Fairly rated because I haven't seen much brilliant driving from him. Apart from in qualifying, he's done well in qualifying, but not much in the race. And I've seen others feel this way. I just don't really think. I think people know he's like a good driver, like worthy of being in Formula 1, but not outstanding. That's how I describe it. Although there might be something I haven't seen that proves me wrong. Ocon. I think he's really underrated because he had very strong finish in Shanghai, 5th. I mean, yeah, aided by 2 disqualifications ahead of him, but still, 5th in a Haas is good. And he didn't do too bad in Australia. I mean, P13, that's fine for a Haas. Next, Oliver Behrman. Fairly rated. I think he was overrated going into Australia just because he was a Ferrari reserve driver and he did well there, but when he crashed in FP1, people's expectations got reset. But then he was underrated at Shanghai and he did well at Shanghai, so sort of balances out to being fairly rated. Probably not, but that's how I'll say it. Nico Hülkenberg. I think he's fairly rated. People know what type of driver he is. Just good, reliable midfield driver. Sometimes he can get a decent points haul like he did in Australia. A lot of the time though, just on the cusp of points. You know, just solid midfield. Yeah. Finally, Gabriel Bortoleto. I think he's still overrated because he won F2 and that gave him a lot of hype. And then he hasn't really shown anything really special in F1 so far, to my knowledge. Like, he might have done something that I just didn't see. But from what I saw, I don't think he's done amazingly. So, yeah, that's my opinion, whether drivers are overrated, underrated, or fairly rated. Thanks for watching. If you disagree with any of these opinions, make sure to scream your outrage in the comments. That are probably turned off. Don't know why YouTube does that. Yeah, subscribe, like, do all the stuff I say. Yeah, bye. Lando Norris is the greatest, the almighty.